They said this room would keep you safe, but after a while, safety starts to feel like a sentence. At first, the silence is a relief. No messages, no arguments, no breaking news, just white walls, a narrow bed, and the steady hum of air moving through hidden vents. You tell yourself this is temporary. You tell yourself you needed a break. You don't admit the truth yet. You agreed to be locked away because you were afraid of what the world might do to you, and what you might do back. Days smeared together. You count the tiles, memorize the pattern of cracks in the ceiling. Meals slide through a slot in the door. Voices on an intercom occasionally ask how you're adjusting. You answer politely, even when the loneliness claws at your chest like an animal. I'm fine, you say. I'm used to being alone. You say it so often you almost believe it. Almost. One morning, everything changes. The door hisses, then opens wider than it ever has. You sit up, heart pounding, waiting for freedom. Instead, another person steps in. The door seals shut behind them with the same final click you heard the day you walked in here. You know their face. Not from here, from before. From the world that broke. From choices that hurt you so deeply you still wake up choking on them. You don't say their name. You just stare. Looks like we're cellmates, they say, voice rough, or whatever this is. You turn your back and lie down, the mattress suddenly harder than stone. Time twists. Now there are two of you in the same small space, both pretending the other doesn't exist. You eat at different times. You sleep facing opposite walls. When your shoulders brush by accident, it feels like touching a hot stove. Through the speaker, the calm voice returns. Cooperation accelerates recovery, it says. Isolation within isolation slows it. You want to rip the speaker off the wall. They don't know what they're talking about. They weren't there the night everything went wrong. They don't see the way this person's presence floods your chest with old fear and old anger. But they do see something the voice doesn't see. The way the other person avoids your eyes, as if they're the one standing in front of the wreckage, as if they're the one who can't look at what they've done. One day, you cut your hand on the metal edge of the meal tray. Blood wells up, bright against the pale room. You hiss and press your palm against your shirt. Before you can say anything, they're there, holding out a small bandage from the first aid kit you never noticed behind the bed. You're bleeding, they say quietly. You should cover it. You snatch the bandage, mumble. Thanks, you barely mean. But that night, you stare at the neat little square on your skin and realize something terrifying. The first time someone has touched your pain in weeks is the person you blame for it. Slowly, the room changes. Not physically, the walls stay the same. The bed doesn't grow any softer, but the silence between you shifts. It turns from a wall into a hallway. Narrow and awkward, but walkable. You start saying small things aloud, more to yourself than to them. I hate this light. It's too bright. Yeah, they answer. Makes it hard to sleep. You mention how the air feels too cold at night. The next morning, your blanket is draped over your shoulders instead of theirs. There's still a canyon between you. But now it has a bridge. Tinos tread. One evening, as the vents whisper overhead, they speak without looking at you. I know you don't want to hear this, they say, but I never wanted any of that to happen. Your jaw tightens. The memory surges, the shouting, the slammed doors. The moment everything snapped. You did it anyway, you say. Your voice sounds different in this room. Sharper, like it's been honed on the edge of your own thoughts. They nod, shoulders slumping. Yeah, I did. And every day in here, I watch it replay. Not from my angle, from yours. Silence stretches. You picture them alone in their half of the room, trapped not by the walls, but by the loop in their head. Suddenly, you see it. You're not the only prisoner in here. Loneliness isn't just being alone. It's being unseen where you're hurting most. You don't forgive them. Not in one night. Not in 10. But you start to ask questions instead of sharpening your anger like a blade. Why didn't you stop? What were you so afraid of? Did you ever regret it before they locked us up? Their answers aren't neat. They stumble. They admit to fear, to pride, to shame, so thick. It almost kept them from speaking at all. As you listen, something uncomfortable happens. The monster in your memory shrinks into a person. Flawed. Weak. Capable of damage. Yes, but not built entirely out of it. One morning, you wake and realize you're both sitting on the same side of the room. Not close enough to touch, just less far away. You start talking about the world outside, about the things you miss, the things you're glad to be rid of, the things you're terrified to face again. You admit that part of you doesn't want the door to open, because in here, nothing new can hurt you. They admit the same. That's when it hits you. This place stopped being just a cage weeks ago. It also became an excuse. As long as you stay in here physically and emotionally, you never have to risk being seen again. Never have to risk trying again. The speaker crackles. Your observation period is ending, the voice says. You will be released soon. The word released lands like a stone in your stomach. You thought you wanted freedom more than anything. Now, your hands shake. What if the world hasn't changed? What if you haven't? Later, the door slides open. A shadow stands in the frame. You can go, the voice says, separately, if you wish. You look at the person who has shared your isolation, the one who broke you, the one who helped you bandage small wounds while both of you bled inside. You realize something. Walking out alone might feel safer, but it would also mean pretending this strange, painful, honest connection never happened, and you're tired of pretending. I'm going, you say, stepping toward the door. Your legs wobble, but you move anyway. You glance back. Walk with me. They stare, stunned. Then they nod, not as someone who deserves it, but as someone who doesn't and is willing to try anyway. Forgiveness isn't forgetting. It's refusing to live in the same day forever. You step into the corridor. The air tastes different, riled, full of things that can hurt you and heal you. Your heart hammers. You are not magically fixed. You still carry scars no one can see. But you're moving out of the room, out of the version of yourself that believed isolation was the only way to be safe. Somewhere ahead, future you is watching, holding every small step you take like a treasure. If this story touched the part of you that hides away to feel safe, don't let that feeling fade when the video ends. Tap LIKE. So you remember this moment the next time you want to disappear. And subscribe to Future You Stories for more journeys that gently pull you out of the rooms you built around your own heart. Because you were not born to be a ghost in your own life. You were born to walk out